Hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day or evening. Thank you to those of you who found this channel and have listened to my storytelling or narration of Beyond the Story, the 10-year record of BTS. I'm even surprised that a number of you have found the channel. And it's been wonderful to see the views, but honestly, as I said, I'm doing this really to comfort myself. um, but if it brings you a bit of solace and entertainment, then that's wonderful too. Before I continue, I'd like to say thank you and acknowledge the background music, which is of course all BTS songs, and they're instrumental by Do Piano. So I was searching for instrumental music of BTS songs because I think it'll be hard to read when you can hear their voices singing in the background, although I'd love, of course, to have the original songs being played, but I think that's not going to match with a reading or a storytelling type of video. So yes, I was searching and I found several, so I'm excited because I really want to go through those different channels. And this was the first channel that I clicked on primarily because I love piano. My family loves to listen to and to play piano. Actually, my younger sister is a brilliant pianist, and so are my older sister. And my nephew is also not bad at all, although now he prefers the violin. So maybe next time I'll find an instrumentation that's perhaps orchestral or by a string quartet. I know I've seen some musicians who've had their versions of BTS songs, and with, I think, a string quartet doing a couple of BTS songs. Anyway, I wish, which I thought, because Yoongi or Suga has a background in classical music, and he's had experience, with Samsung, their theme song Over the Horizon, and I think he's done a number of symphony-like or orchestral type of arrangements, and I know he loves those. I wonder if he'll come up with a compilation of arrangements, orchestral arrangements of BTS songs, where he gets to work with classical musicians.
Is word trip delays. The
Okay,
natural confectionery company.
let me.
Powered the real.
Okay. I guess I said in my previous recordings that I can't stop the ads. I once it starts, I can, halt it. But I'm sorry about that. Anyway, back to the classical musician collaboration. Wouldn't that be fantastic if Yoongi was able to work with more classical musicians? I mean, his idol and role model and person he respected was Ryuichi Yakamoto for Snooze, and of course Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. I think that was the keys, and of course the composer also of the Last Emperor theme, movie theme. I'd love that. So anyway, so just giving a shout out to Do Piano for this incredible compilation of BTS songs through piano. I hope you're enjoying the background music too. Okay, where are we? So we're about to start chapter 2. I think this book has 7 chapters. And the heading of chapter 2 is Why We Exist. First subheading, We Will Survive. BTS debut, our role model is Big Bang. We will survive. On June 12, 2013, just one day before the official debut of BTS, an article on Korean portal site Naver's news section reported on the BTS debut showcase that took place at Ilchi Art Hall in the Cheongdam-dong neighborhood of Seoul's Gangnam district. Until Naver took down the comment function on celebrity news articles, thousands upon thousands of comments were left on this historic page. The highly sanitized versions of the earliest comments are, "They're probably not going to last long," and "Bulletproof Boy Scouts is a stupid name." But as time passed and BTS gained popularity, more supportive comments were added to the article. By the time BTS became an international sensation, the article had become an internet pilgrimage destination, with visitors posting wishes like, "Please let me get into the university I want." In the comments section, an online phenomenon reserved for the sites of the most spectacular miracles. The changes in these comments show the past and present of BTS. Their past as a team derided from the starting line, and their present as an unbelievably successful group of artists. There were many reasons behind the abusive comments from the early days, but ultimately, they boil down to this, again, highly sanitized message. BTS wouldn't last long after their debut and were clearly bound for failure. Indeed, the deck seemed to be stacked against them. In 2012, the year before BTS's debut, SM Entertainment had debuted EXO, or EXO. In the 100 days leading up to D-Day, they released 23 teaser videos introducing the character of the team and the individual members. In 2014, the year after BTS's debut, YG Entertainment debuted Winner, who had already made a name for themselves in August 2013 through Mnet's survival program, Win, Who Is Next, or WIN, Who Is Next. These pre-debut promotional blitzes were the perfect opportunities to attract idol fans and were built on a strong foundation of planning and funding. Success seemed to be assured for EXO and Winner, and these premonitions turned out to be correct. Like their SM Entertainment predecessors, HOT and TVXQ, EXO quickly built up a fan following, while Winner's debut song Empty topped the real-time charts on every Korean music streaming platform. BTS, meanwhile, ran a blog. The very first entry was posted by RM on December 21st, 2012, showcasing his mixtape song 10. Oh, rather, Vote. That's footnote 10. An unofficial free album or song. So that's a mixtape, yeah? The term first came into use in the days of cassette tapes and has multiple other meanings that are rarely used today. As mixtape songs are not as strongly developed for marketability, artists are at liberty to showcase more of their personal values and emotions. So that's what a mixtape song means. Okay, so that song was Vote. The post received its first comment on December 24th. Oh, that's Christmas Eve, 3 days after the posting. The fifth comment was posted on January 5th, 2013. The sixth, more than a month later, on February 16. Compared to SM and YG, Big Hit Entertainment was positively tiny. And this tiny company was debuting a team whose role model was YG's Big Bang. There was nothing wrong with being from a small company or looking up to Big Bang as role models. But many comments on BTS's debut article accused them of trying, quotations, to capitalize on Big Bang's success, end quotation. In the Korean idol industry, it was considered almost underhanded for idols from a smaller company to name popular groups from bigger companies as role models, and these groups had no fans of their own to defend them until they built up popularity and established a fandom of their own. Underhanded to look up to a group that just happens to be from a big company? That's a bit strange. This mindset was rooted in the preconception that idols from smaller companies never find explosive success. BTS was far from the only male idol group to consider Big Bang a role model. Around this time, Big Bang members G-Dragon and Taeyang were on Mnet's Win or WIN, Who Is Next, and mentored trainees who would form Winner, which allowed YG to showcase their up-and-coming talent to existing Big Bang fans. It is easier for idol groups under established management companies to quickly build a consumer following thanks to the know-how, resources, and existing fandoms at their company's disposal. BTS was at a massive disadvantage, and it seemed all but impossible to close the gap. The big picture. Although not backed by as much capital as EXO or Winner, BTS's blog was a strong promotional effort in its own right. Just like the YG Entertainment trainees on Win, Who Is Next, BTS members released their music before their official debut. And just like EXO's individual member teasers, BTS also began to introduce new members starting on January 12, 2013, with a video of Jimin dancing in the practice studio. Other content included videos of the members spending Christmas together and individual vlogs in which they spoke candidly into the camera. The reality of BTS and Big Hit Entertainment's position was clear from shots of the practice studio. The space barely seemed big enough for Jimin alone, and the studio where they recorded their vlogs was positively tiny. And yet, the vlog contained everything an idol fan could want to see from their favorite stars. BTS members showcased their rap, singing, and dance skills, with Jin even posting photographs of himself cooking at the dormitory, and were honest with themselves and their fans in their vlogs. Jin recalls, "One of the staff members at the company said this was the fad these days, so we should give it a try, and it sounded fun. So we started it. We were using a really tiny laptop, and it was tough because I hadn't done it before, but I did as much as I possibly could. Jun's comment offers a look into the context of the blog. At the time, pre-debut promotional initiatives for K-pop idol groups generally meant publicizing the audition process through music channels on cable TV or having members feature on reality shows. But instead of appearing on television, BTS members expressed their genuine selves to audiences through vlogs posted on YouTube. Comment. Would BTS have had the opportunity, though, to promote on cable TV? I mean, knowing that media was, well, controlled or maybe really dominated by the three big companies, and knowing from their history how BTS was shut out, I don't even think they had a choice, really. Oh, I'd love to hear or read what you think. So please do share your thoughts, your insights on what we're learning from the book and some of the issues that BTS faced, and maybe in our reflection after learning all this stuff from the book. I mean, it's such a systemic issue, and I find that, what about not only BTS, yeah? In the idol industry, what about those other small groups or small labels? Then step back a bit and look at the bigger picture. What about independent artists, not idol music, those from also small companies? Because I know those small companies have other artists, like solo artists, not necessarily idol groups, yeah? I wonder what would happen to them. So, okay. If not for Glam's failure, the BTS blog might have been backed by more resources. But a budget crisis was not the only reason BTS members made their own pre-debut promos. The experience with Glam had taught Big Hit Entertainment a critical lesson. Before bringing a new artist to the public, it was important to secure even just one more fan who would listen to their music. As YouTube was the biggest hub for video content among teenagers at the time, Big Hit Entertainment started a YouTube channel titled Bangtan TV for video uploads which would be posted on the blog. Soon, the blog and the Twitter accounts run independently by the BTS members in training became the go-to platforms for fans to learn more about their lives. Meanwhile, Big Hit Entertainment made plans for an official social media presence on platforms used commonly by fandoms such as Twitter, Daum cafes, and Kakao Story, and established tailored goals and content styles for each platform. For instance, one of the Big Hit's goals after BTS's debut was to attain a specific number of new followers on days BTS featured in a music program. This new approach to promoting an up-and-coming idol group played an important role in establishing a unique identity for BTS. Videos on the blog showcased unpolished composition by the trainees, choreography practice in tiny practice studios, and glimpses into members' genuine trepidations as they spoke into the camera without any airbrushing. It was a complete rejection of genre norms in Korea's idol industry, where every frame of every video was perfectly produced for public consumption. BTS members were not just idols. They were rappers who released mixtapes and YouTubers who gave tutorials on music production and dance. Jimin reminisces about posting his dance practice video showing how the BTS members felt about this unprecedented promotional strategy. I didn't know if something like that had been done already. I just made a video for the first time to say, this is what I look like. That opportunity was in itself so precious. While at the time this was the most ambitious strategy that was still feasible for Big Hit Entertainment, the members themselves did not think too deeply about the reasoning behind it, instead focusing on being genuine to their audiences. They poured their hearts out. And that is what made them different. It was organic, it was grassroots. Yeah. Keyword was genuine. They were real, they were authentic. And that resonated with the youth of Korea, because at the time I would surmise that the original fans would be the Korean armies, and because of the internet, a few of the international armies who were fans or exposed to K-pop and probably already, listened to those groups from the first generation, second generation, and now third generation. Limitations. Looking back on the production of No More Dream, their debut album Too Cool for School, Suga recalls, when we were working on that song, I sat in P-Dog's room in the Chongu building and thought, I really want to go back to the dorms thousands of times a day. We should be going to the dorms to sleep by 7 or 8 in the morning, right? But we had to finish our work by the end of the day for days on end. That was the hardest part. Can you imagine that? Sleep by 7 or 8 in the morning. They were working and burning, the midnight candle every single day. And they were still in their early 20s. I pick up my pen every night and close my eyes after the sun rises. These lines from We Are Bulletproof Part 2 were a perfect encapsulation of RM, Suga, and J-Hope's reality as they composed the lyrics for the songs in Too Cool for School. They would practice all day to polish their razor-sharp choreography until they were in frame-by-frame sync while also working on the songs for the album. In the little time they had in between, they would shoot their vlogs and other videos and manage the blog. No More Dream, the title song of the album, loomed ahead like the final boss at the gates of BTS's debut. Jimin describes what the song was to them. It's not difficult now, but back then, the choreography, we could barely breathe. The dance accompanying No More Dream is made up of big, wild moves, which had to be performed in perfect sync. Each member had to start and stop each movement with military precision, tense and ready throughout the entirety of the performance, and make sure to jump up to exactly the same height. And as mentioned earlier, even their diet was under strict control. Jin discusses the team's vibe at the time. In We Are Bulletproof Part 2, we all had to show off our abs. So we worked out, and we couldn't eat what we wanted because of the prescribed diet. Everyone was cranky. While the members pushed their physical limits in the practice studio and dormitory, RM, Suga, and J-Hope also pushed the limits of their souls in the studio, struggling with the lyrics to No More Dream. RM had to compose a staggering 29 versions of the rap lyrics for this particular song. I once went up to Hakdong Park near the Cheonggu building and screamed out loud. Oh, I would scream out too. The rap just wasn't coming, and I felt like I was suffocating. Producer Bang Si-yuk had a final say on which version of the lyrics would be chosen. And at the time, he and RM had different perspective on the rap lyrics to the title song. RM explains, Bang Si-yuk thought we should reflect the latest trends. But I'm from the generation that grew up with Nas and Eminem, so there was a point of conflict. It was about whether or not I could accept that what we call trap flow, and it was hard for me to accept. Our big issue was that the debut album was how we could quickly reflect new hip-hop trends, and that's where Bang PD and I had trouble coming to a compromise. Remember, this is their first album and first title track, but RM is able to voice out his concerns about the song because he has experience and he knows hip-hop or rap. And imagine to argue or debate with your CEO and producer about, the lyrics and what's important and how it should be and the direction of the song and possibly the album. Incredible, because think about it. An RM would have been, 20 or 19? Turning 20? Most young artists who are still trying to find themselves, and how they fit and who they are, their personality. And not that I'm saying that RM was already, knew who he was. No, actually not. He himself says, he was developing and is trying to find who he is too. But he knows rap and he knows hip hop. So incredible that he had the presence of mind and not only that, the confidence to really voice out his concerns. Most would just follow what the producer says. And Bang was also a songwriter and an experienced one at that. And he also, had a track record of writing very good songs. Sorry. So as I said, Bang PD was also a really experienced songwriter. But it's amazing. I love that RM is able to debate and to voice what he felt regarding their very, very first single, No More Dream. As I said, most young, budding artists and musicians would differ. And from my understanding, the idol industry, a lot of these groups would just listen and accept whatever the main producer and songwriter was going to, tell them to sing, which song they wanted to, they had to sing. Yeah. A common misconception outside the idol industry was that the management companies were in charge of everything about the music, taking the lead in musical creativity. But even the most finely produced songs cannot shine if the idols performing them are untalented or unwilling. The idea of giving voice to teenage realities through lyrics sounded great in a vacuum, but someone had to go about composing those lyrics. Bang Si-yuk's decision was to have the composers in the group, RM, Suga, and J-Hope, also take leading roles as lyricists from the very first album. Salute, Bang Si-yuk. But as the differences in RM and Bang's perspectives showed, it was extremely difficult to produce lyrics that would satisfy both the hip-hop scene and the idol industry. No one would have been surprised if this gambit had failed. RM2 confesses that accepting the musical direction of their first album was no easy task. I listened to a lot of music, almost as if I was studying. I got these contemporary style songs and listened to them, analyzed them. It actually took more than a year, I think, before I started to genuinely love those trends and internalize them. These were just some of the many things BTS did to challenge their own experience and values. The lyrics to A Typical Trainee's Christmas, uploaded on the blog on December 23, 2012, and January 11, 2013, before the production of No More Dream, illustrate the difficulties they faced. Even this year, I pulled all-nighters practicing. Cry, I'm still a trainee. I really want to debut next year. The blog post A Typical Trainee's Christmas Review, posted around the same time, shows the members practicing their choreography, holding recording sessions, and celebrating the holiday late at night over a tiny cake. When asked how he endured that period, Jin, who uploaded the post, answers, I was a trainee for almost 2 years, so it naturally became a part of my life. I thought it was about time for me to debut as an idol, but I didn't really want to look for another company. So I thought I should do it here. Jin laughs. So I decided to do the dances I learned at this company. It was just that kind of feeling. Jin must have felt lonely. There's a resigned feeling a bit to his words. Or let's persevere and see what happens. But I'm sure, because I think I remember that video clip in the Rise of Bangtan series. I think the first one or first two ones. And Jin was very somber. Oh, perfect timing. The background music is Jin's song. I love this song. We all miss Jin, huh? Can't wait till he comes back. And I really, really, really hope he will release an album or whatever he wants to do. Okay. And The Edge. The blog post, A Typical Trainee's Christmas Review, also includes complaints like, I thought we might get a Christmas holiday, but we all ended up going on vacation to the Bangtan room. And the boss is terrible. Won't take us out to dinner once, even after we made that song asking for a company dinner. Even in the most liberal of countries and cultures, it is not easy for a pre-debut trainee to publicly voice his complaints about the label's CEO. And Korea is a country where idol groups cannot be launched without significant capital, time, and planning know-how. In spite of this, Bang Shiyuk had the members write their own blog, posts, and publicly share their thoughts and feelings as trainees alongside their mixtapes and journal entries. Once training had become part of daily life, as it had for Jin, the trainees began to talk about themselves in a candid and genuine manner. This was the beginning of the team that would become Beyond the Scene. In July 2017, about 4 years after BTS' debut, Big Hit Entertainment unveiled the group's new brand identity and added a new meaning to their name. In addition to the original meaning of boys who protect teenagers from oppression and prejudice, in Bulletproof Boy Scouts, Beyond the Scene indicates the group's mission to always aim for the horizon, reaching for their dreams without resigning themselves to reality. I mean, I understand the expansion, but I'm not sure. I think there will be more of you who know this, but I don't think Beyond the Scene really, clicked. I don't know, but I'm partial to Bulletproof Boy Scouts or Bangtan Sonyeondan because with a lot of also the songs like We Are Bulletproof, and then We Are Bulletproof Part 2, and then We Are Bulletproof The Eternal. And, RM's quote about Army being their proof. It has just more of an impact and meaning than Beyond the Scene. I mean, it can be a joke, another documentary or, a story. But honestly, I don't know. I love Bulletproof Boy Scouts. And that's literally the meaning of Bangtan Sonyeondan, yeah? Okay. Jimin reminisces. When the Hyungs were writing the lyrics, they kept asking me for input too. What do you think about this kind of content? What are kids around you like? Aren't any of your school friends chasing their dreams? Stuff like that. I was really thankful. RM's Suga and J-Hope's lyrics in Too Cool for School reflected the stories of all the BTS members. This is the reason We Are Bulletproof Part 2 discusses the anguish of rappers crossing from the hip-hop scene to the idol industry and writing rap lyrics all night while also including Jungkook's personal experience as a teenager with an atypical student life. In the lyrics, instead of going to school, I sang and danced all night in the practice rooms. When this song was written, BTS members were neither rappers on the hip-hop scene, not idols on the public stage. Rather than covering up the realities of the precarious trainee's life in hip-hop swag or idol fantasies, they used hip-hop techniques to showcase their experiences exactly as they were. Ahead of their time, and breaking barriers, breaking stereotypes. Pre-debut, early 20s, and teens. What was I doing? Well, I wasn't pretty bad. I was a great teenager. I did very well. But nowhere in comparison to Bangtan Sonyeondan. This was the unique position BTS took from the beginning of their career and the perspective they continue to take in telling their stories. Rather than follow the grammar of either hip-hop or idol music, they used the languages of both genres to talk about themselves. In that sense, Too Cool for School is almost a log of their journey, how a group of nameless trainees could neither take center stage nor live ordinary lives finally made their debut. The album begins with Intro Too Cool for School featuring DJ Frizz with the rap lyrics. We're simply telling our stories on behalf of teens and 20-somethings. In skit Circle Room Talk, the members talk about their childhood dreams. Outro, Circle Room Cypher, has each member tell his own story in cipher form. Finally, the lyrics of the CD-exclusive hidden track, Skit, on the start line clearly describes their pre-debut life. Trainee. In a way, it's exactly who I am, but a difficult word to define. Not belonging anywhere, not really doing anything either. That kind of stage, a transition period. Most importantly, this track ends with the following lyrics. Because I'm a trainee. This was their self-definition, trainees in the Korean idol industry, but not just any trainees, ones who poured their trainee lives into hip-hop form and turned their debut album into a record of their experiences. From the beginning, BTS's music reflected the lives of the members. The B-side tracks in Too Cool for School, intro, interlude, outro, and skit became a template on which later albums would be formatted. It was a time when only the tiniest minority knew of the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, but BTS were already forging their own identity, one they hold on to today. And the tracks in Too Cool for School, the first single album released on June 12, 2013. The intro, Too Cool for School, We Are Bulletproof Part 2, skit, Circle Room Talk, No More Dream, the title track, interlude, I like that one, outro, Circle Room Cipher, skit on the start line, hidden track, and Path, hidden track. I love Path. Now we shall end there because I have to go, but it has been lovely spending time with you again. I hope you enjoyed that start to chapter 2, Why We Exist. Thank you once again, and I hope we see or we hear from each other next time. Well, I hope I read something from you, but if not, that's still okay. I'm glad that you are listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful day and evening. Until next time, this is 1800 with BTS.